John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Alchemalon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we show that we care about the things that we do. And today, I just want to share and piggyback and kind of reminisce back in the day, down through the years. God has been good to me. And as some of you have probably already heard, my story has always been from which I came. And I tells the story, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And what I mean by that, in telling the story about how good God has been to me and reminiscing about the things that had come and passed down through the years, just a few days ago. And I'm always sharing information. I don't mind if you recall, we always say caring is sharing, sharing is caring. And we share information with one another because we care about each other, especially if it's good information, especially if it's going to help someone. And I often talks about being appreciative to people that has been there for you down through this year. And over 40 some years, actually over 50 some years, I've been doing business either one way or the other out of the trunk of my car or from brick and mortar. And over the years, and God has watched over me and protected me from hurt, harm, danger seen and unseen. And just protected me as I was up and down the highways out here in these streets. Some places I didn't even have no business being, but God was good to me and He protected me and watched over me. And as we say, and you hear us teach in the church, the prayers of the righteous avails much. And my mother used to tell me, say, boy, you have kept me on my knees. And I understand that now because I have my children kind of keeps us, my wife and I, on ours. So what goes around, in a sense, comes back around. But over these years, I've had some friends, and I won't be mentioning any names, but I just want you all to know that my story is from where I come from and to the person that I have become to be today. I didn't know how to be that person. I learned how to be that person. And we can only teach what we learn. And if you don't learn anything, you can't teach anything. And I often tell people sometimes, sometimes you just need to be quiet and listen. You also have to learn how to obey leadership. And how can you learn something if somebody's trying to tell you something and you're not listening? So, on that note, over the years, I tell people where you see me at today, I haven't always been here. I haven't always had the attitude that I wanted to. My mission, I didn't set out to try to help everybody, but it would just look like it was a mission that was put up on me by God. And my brother used to would tell me sometimes, he said, John,
Ubalon Village, your community center for your neighborhood. Programs for the whole family. Led by Marvis Cofield, John Beverly, and the wonderful staff. Visit 7701 Harper Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. Call 313-921-1616 or on the web at alcubalonvillage.com.
Hello, know. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my sound, but hopefully some of the things that I've already said, maybe I need to go back a little bit. I just wanted you guys to know that I didn't do all of this by myself. I had people that believed in me. I had owners of stores and wholesale and people that favored me and the trust had trust in me, and I didn't. You don't just get trust, you have to earn trust. People have to believe in you. You have to show them that you are trustworthy. And sometimes we look at other people and wonder, well, why do people do certain things for certain people and don't do things for others? But I have proven myself, not that I just sat out on a mission to say, well, I'm going to prove myself to be this or that. And like I said, if you didn't hear me before, I think my sound might have been out or may not have been. But my brother would always tell me, say, John, you can't save the world. And on that note, I would tell him, I said, well, I may not be able to save the world, but I can do the best I can, and I just help the people that I can. And he said, well, how you going to do that in a sense? I said, well, my friend, Mr. Cofield, would ask the question one time, how did you eat an elephant? And the answer to that question for us was the same way you eat an apple, one bite at a time. So you can make one step and then two steps and then three steps. You just don't all of a sudden become uh, a big business or from one area to another area. You have to grow into those positions. And like I say, down through these years, God has truly been good to me. And like I often said and has said and said not too long ago, that my mother said that uh, I kept her on her knees and my father because, we were just out there doing stuff. But nevertheless, I had people that believed in me and whatever I thought I wanted to do or whatever kind of business I thought I wanted to go in. And I also smiled and tell that story sometimes. I even felt like, and I didn't just feel like it, I went into a beer and wine business, a friend of mine's and I. And I tell that story because I say that was something that I didn't have no business doing anyway. I didn't have no business going into beer and wine business because it's not good for you. But I went into that business and I helped the guy that I went in business with turn that business around to over tripling its income. But unfortunately, like I say, you have to be able to listen and not only just listen, you have to be able to apply the things that you listen and hear and learn. And if you don't apply those things, sometimes it's hard, well, they're not going to work because you don't apply. And you have to earn trust, you have to earn different things and turning the business around. And like I say, maybe it just didn't work out because I didn't have no business being in it anyway. That unfortunately the business went from 500% from 10%, 20, let's say 30% to 3, 4, 500% increase over a year or so. And we was doing good, but the partner that I had at that time, he saw fit after we was making pretty good money, he went and bought a brand new car. And I asked him, I said, why did you do that? I said, we trying to build this business and I'm trying to help you build this business. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do know that you have to invest and you can't afford to be spending money on stuff that taking the money that you need to help grow your business with on personal stuff. Where he bought a brand new car and I went out and bought a 10-year-old van so that I could haul stuff in. He said, man, why did you just get you a new van? I said, well, right now we don't need a new van. We just need something to be able to help us to, pick up stock and be able to carry it and haul it around. I said, but I'm not trying to look good. I'm just trying to help build this business. And once we get a business going, we can always take money and do something else or spend some money on ourselves. But we most have to is get the business stable. Unfortunately, he didn't see it my way. And after 2 years and the lease was up, I saw fit that what I needed to do is come back over here on Harper where I knew what I was doing because I definitely didn't know what he was doing. Well, I knew and I saw what he was doing, and it was really wasn't the right thing to be doing. It wasn't growing the business. The business began to come from down to up and then up back down, and that wasn't where I wanted to be. But nevertheless, I said all that to say that once you get yourself in a position and people can believe in you and not just hear you, but see what you're doing. Because, I say talk is cheap, but work is expensive. And anybody can say, I can do this and I can do that. But the proof is always in the pudding. If I tell you I can bake a cake and you never see me bake one, or you put me to the test and find out I can't bake it, it's too late then because I done messed up a whole lot of ingredients. But I have been able to show my worth. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be worth the investment. And the people saw that I was worth the investment. So they invested in me, and I had friends, and the Lord has always gave me some kind of I say 6 cents in a way, but He showed me how I could maneuver and juggle money. I've had friends that say, "You're a juggler." I said, well, whatever that is, but and I come to pass. I understand where you're able to move money and make you do a little bit more than what it's supposed to do, and find deals, and just being able to manage your money. That's the bottom line. But I also had friends and family members that believed and trust in me, where when they didn't have cash money, I said, "You got a checkbook?" They said, "But I don't have no money in the bank." But don't worry about that. I said, just give me sign the check. I said, and what I want to do, I'm going to give it to my distributor and I'm going to post date it and I'm going to tell them when to cash that check. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So they began to, a little bit here, a little bit there. A brother here would give me a check and I, post date and tell the people. But most important, I always did what I said I was going to do. I postdated that check, and when the time came, I made sure the day before that person deposited or went to cash it that the money was in the bank to be able to take care of what they were supposed to do. Well, it came to pass that after building a reputation of being able to take family members' light bill money or their gas money or their mortgage note 3, 4 days or a week before it was due and use it and give it back to them by the time they needed it, you know, I built a reputation by doing stuff like that. So man, he can work that money. He know how to manage it. But God showed me how to do that. And most important, you had to be a person of your word. You had to do what you were supposed to do because if I had messed up any of that at any given time, from that point on, it would have been cut off. And at one time, I had a friend that I would really make him nervous around the first, second, and third of the month because I convinced him to give me 10 checks one time, and and had him to sign them all, and told him don't worry about it. And he looked at me like I was crazy, but I assured him that I wasn't going to disappoint him, that I was going to be a man of my word, and I was going to do exactly what I said I was going to do. So business is business, and you have to take care of business. If you take care of your business will take care of you. So it came to pass, and he would trust me. And man, I had checks, check over here, check over there, and I had a piece of paper where I knew If the check was dated for the first, I made sure it was in there by the 29th or the 30th of the month. If it was dated for the 5th or the 6th, I made sure that the money was in the bank a day or two before then. So when whoever had a check that whatever the date was, I made sure the money was there 2 or 3 days before it was supposed to be, to make sure that when nobody had no problem. Because if I'd have made a problem for them, then I would have had a problem from that point on, because I wouldn't have been able to use somebody else's check to be able to do what I needed to do. And God knows I didn't have the money, but He made a way for me to be able to maneuver and manage. And uh, I tell people, and I don't take this the wrong way, but He showed me how to be able to use people. Now, some people say use, which mean, well, what I mean by that, you have it's okay to use people, but you don't misuse them. So we use this one another, but we don't misuse each other. So we use people and each other to get to where we need to get and help one another do what we need to do, but we don't misuse them. We don't do nothing that would but hurt them. So as the Lord blessed me and did things, and it come to pass now, my friends that had done those things and wrote different checks for me, we laugh and we talk about it now, how the Lord blessed me and showed me how to manipulate situations and blank checks and use them to for a later date. And I know my one friend, the one that gave me the 10 checks, man, I used to make him nervous. He almost would have a nervous breakdown getting close to the first, second, and the third of every month, because whatever checks I been and did, and if it was anywhere near any of those days, he'd break out in sweats and call me and check sometime. But he finally got comfortable with it because I always did what I said. And the reason he would get so nervous about it, because his Social Security, he would get a check on the first and on the third. And he didn't need me messing up and my stuff coming out and taking his money to do what I need to do and mess him up so he couldn't do what he had to do. And that had a real friend, a close friend that trusted you so much, believed in you so much to do something like that for you. So I just want you to know that we don't take each other for granted. And I'm saying this to you because I'm pretty sure that in your life, there's somebody that has been there for you. And all I'm saying is make sure you let them know that you appreciate them, you thank God for them, and you thank God for them being in your life and for what they has been able to do for you, because you couldn't do it for yourself. So hopefully I said something today that will encourage you, to give you something to think about. And most important, what makes a good leader? Well, he had to be a good follower, because if he didn't follow and learn, that's how you learn how to lead, by following, listening, and learning how to do things. So I thank you. I appreciate you for taking the time out and listening to what I had to say today. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the LICMC Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We show it by the things that we do. Thank you and have a great day.
John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Cubalon Village, your community center for your neighborhood. Programs for the whole family. Led by Marvis Cofield, John Beverly, and the wonderful staff. Visit 7701 Harper Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. Call 313-921-1616 or on the web at alcubalonvillage.com.